What if I told you that the charming landlord who just showed you around that perfect apartment could be setting you up for months of financial nightmare, legal battles, and sleepless nights? Every year, millions of renters fall victim to property scams, illegal rental practices, and landlords who prey on tenants who don't know what warning signs to look for. The worst part? Most of these disasters could have been prevented if the tenant had just known what to watch out for during those first few crucial interactions. I've spent years investigating rental horror stories, and I've uncovered a disturbing pattern of red flags that appear again and again, subtle warning signs that most people completely miss, but once you know them, they're impossible to ignore. From the seemingly innocent phrase that signals a scam landlord to the one document you should never sign, even though 90% of renters do, these warning signs could literally save you thousands of dollars and months of legal headaches. But here's what's really shocking. 3 of these warning signs are so common that you've probably encountered them before without even realizing you were in danger. So before you hand over that security deposit or sign on the dotted line, you need to know exactly what to look for. Because what I'm about to show you will completely change how you approach your next rental search. Picture this: you're standing in front of what seems like the perfect rental property. The photos looked amazing online, the rent fits your budget, and you're ready to sign the lease right away. But wait, 3 months later, you're dealing with a landlord who won't fix the broken heating system, hidden fees you never knew about, and neighbors who party until 3 a.m. every night. Sound familiar? You're not alone. Thousands of renters make costly mistakes every year by missing crucial warning signs before signing their lease. Today, I'm going to share the most important red flags you need to watch out for when renting property. These warning signs can save you from months of stress, unexpected costs, and potential legal trouble. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and what questions to ask before you hand over that security deposit. Let's start with the most obvious but often overlooked warning signs you'll notice during your property viewing. Red flag number 1. The property condition. When you walk into a rental property, your eyes should be working overtime. Look for water stains on the ceiling. These usually indicate roof leaks or plumbing problems above. Check the walls for cracks, especially around windows and doors. Small hairline cracks might be normal settling, but large cracks could signal serious structural issues. Pay attention to the flooring. Are there loose floorboards, stained carpets, or tiles that move when you step on them? These aren't just cosmetic issues, they often hide bigger problems underneath. Test every light switch and electrical outlet. If lights flicker or outlets don't work, you might be looking at electrical problems that could be expensive to fix. Don't forget to check the plumbing. Turn on faucets and flush toilets. Low water pressure or toilets that don't flush properly are signs of plumbing issues. Look under sinks for water damage or signs of leaks. Here's a story from Sarah, a renter from Chicago. She fell in love with a beautiful apartment but ignored the musty smell and small water stains in the bathroom. 2 weeks after moving in, black mold started growing on her bedroom wall. The landlord refused to fix it, claiming it was her responsibility. Sarah had to break her lease and lost her security deposit. Red flag number 2. The landlord's behavior. Your landlord's behavior during your first interactions tells you everything about what living there will be like. Does the landlord seem rushed during the viewing? Are they pushing you to sign immediately without giving you time to think? This pressure tactic is a major red flag. Good landlords want tenants who are comfortable with their decision. Pay attention to how they respond to your questions. If they dodge questions about maintenance, building policies, or neighborhood issues, that's concerning. A transparent landlord will gladly discuss these topics. Watch how they treat current tenants if you encounter any during your visit. Are they friendly and respectful, or do they seem dismissive? This interaction shows you how you'll be treated as a tenant. Mark from Seattle learned this lesson the hard way. His landlord seemed friendly during the viewing but was impossible to reach when his heating system broke in the middle of winter. It took 3 weeks and multiple calls to get it fixed. Red flag number 3. Unrealistic rent prices. If the rent seems too good to be true, it probably is. Research average rental prices in the area before you start looking. If you find a place that's significantly cheaper than similar properties, ask yourself why. Sometimes there are legitimate reasons. Maybe the landlord owns the property outright and doesn't need to cover a mortgage. But often, extremely low rent comes with hidden costs. Maybe utilities aren't included when they should be. Perhaps the landlord plans to raise rent dramatically after the first year. Or there might be serious problems with the property that justify the lower price. On the flip side, be wary of landlords who ask for unusually high upfront payments. Some scammers ask for first month, last month, security deposit, and additional fees all at once. While some upfront costs are normal, excessive demands could indicate a scam. Red flag number 4. Lease agreement issues. The lease agreement is your protection as a tenant. A good lease should be clear, detailed, and fair to both parties. Be suspicious of handwritten or informal lease agreements. Professional landlords use proper legal documents. Read every single line of the lease before signing. Look for unusual clauses or restrictions that seem unreasonable. Can you have guests over? Are you allowed to hang pictures on the walls? Some landlords include overly restrictive rules that make normal living difficult. Pay special attention to the section about repairs and maintenance. Who's responsible for what? A fair lease should clearly state that the landlord handles major repairs and maintenance. If the lease tries to make you responsible for things like plumbing or electrical problems, that's a red flag. Check the rules about lease termination. What happens if you need to move out early? Are there reasonable provisions for breaking the lease in case of job loss or other emergencies? Red flag number 5. Neighborhood and building concerns. The property itself might be perfect, but the neighborhood and building matter just as much. Visit the area at different times of day and week. A quiet neighborhood during your Tuesday afternoon viewing might be completely different on Friday night. Look for signs of neglect in the building's common areas. Are hallways clean and well lit? Do the mailboxes look secure? Is there proper lighting in parking areas? These details reflect how well the property is managed. Pay attention to the other tenants you meet. Do they seem happy living there? If possible, strike up a conversation and ask about their experience. Current tenants can give you honest insights about the landlord and building management. Check for proper security measures. Are there working locks on entry doors? Do ground floor windows have proper locks? Is there adequate lighting around the building? Your safety should never be compromised. Red flag number 6. Hidden fees and costs. Always ask for a complete breakdown of all costs before signing anything. Some landlords surprise tenants with fees that weren't mentioned initially. Common hidden fees include application fees, pet deposits, parking fees, and utility connection charges. Ask specifically about water and sewer charges. Are they included in rent or separate? Trash collection fees. Internet and cable availability and costs. Parking, is it included or an additional monthly fee? Storage space costs if you need extra room. Pet fees, both deposits and monthly charges. Late rent penalties and how they're calculated. Get everything in writing. If the landlord promises something verbally, make sure it's included in the lease agreement. Red flag number 7. Poor communication. Communication problems before you move in will only get worse after you sign the lease. Does the landlord respond to your calls and emails promptly? Are they clear in their communication, or do they give vague answers? When you ask to schedule a viewing, do they accommodate reasonable requests? If they're difficult to reach during the rental process, imagine trying to contact them when your air conditioning breaks in the middle of summer. Good landlords understand that clear communication prevents problems and keeps tenants happy. Red flag number 8. Pressure to sign immediately. Never let anyone pressure you into signing a lease on the spot. Legitimate landlords understand that renting a home is a big decision that requires careful consideration. If someone tells you another person is looking at it tomorrow or this deal won't last, take a step back. These are classic pressure tactics. A good property will still be good after you've had time to think about it. Take the lease home and read it carefully. Consider having a lawyer review it if anything seems unclear. Talk to friends or family members who have renting experience. Sleep on it before making your final decision. Red flag number 9. Refusal to provide references. Professional landlords should be able to provide references from previous tenants or property management companies. If they refuse or seem uncomfortable with this request, that's concerning. You can also check online reviews for the landlord or property management company. While you should take online reviews with a grain of salt, patterns of complaints can be telling. Look for reviews that mention specific issues like slow repair response, unfair security deposit deductions, or poor communication. Red flag number 10. Cash-only transactions. Be very suspicious of landlords who only accept cash payments. Professional property management typically involves checks, bank transfers, or online payment systems that create paper trails. Cash-only requirements often indicate tax evasion by the landlord. Potential scams. Unprofessional management practices. You want documentation of all your rental payments for your own records and protection. What to do when you spot these warning signs? If you notice 1 or 2 minor issues, don't panic. No rental property is perfect, and some problems can be addressed. The key is knowing which issues are deal breakers and which can be negotiated. For minor maintenance issues, you can ask the landlord to fix them before you move in. Get any agreements about repairs in writing. If the landlord agrees to handle certain repairs, make sure there's a timeline specified in your lease. For more serious concerns like safety issues or unprofessional behavior from the landlord, it's usually best to keep looking. Remember, you'll be living with these problems for the entire length of your lease. Questions to ask before signing. Here are the essential questions every renter should ask. How long has the current landlord owned the property? What's included in the rent, and what costs extra? What's the policy for maintenance requests? How much notice is required before the landlord enters the property? What happens if you need to break the lease early? Are there any planned rent increases? What's the neighborhood like in terms of safety and noise? Are there any ongoing issues with the property I should know about? How is the security deposit handled when you move out? What's the policy on subletting if needed? Creating your own inspection checklist before viewing any property. Create a checklist to ensure you don't miss important details. Include items like testing all appliances that come with the rental, checking cell phone reception throughout the property, measuring rooms to ensure your furniture will fit, testing internet speed if you work from home, checking storage space availability, examining parking arrangements, looking at the condition of windows and doors, checking for adequate electrical outlets, testing water pressure and temperature. Looking for signs of pests or pest control measures. Take photos during your viewing. This helps you remember details later and can be useful if disputes arise about the property's condition. Trust your instincts. Sometimes a property might check all the boxes on paper, but something just feels off. Trust your instincts. If you feel uncomfortable during the viewing or interaction with the landlord, that feeling is valid. You're going to be living in this space and dealing with this person for months or years. Feeling comfortable and safe should be non-negotiable. Final tips for success: start your housing search early. Rushing leads to poor decisions and missed warning signs. Have all your documentation ready before you start looking. This includes proof of income, references, and identification. Know your rights as a tenant in your area. Different states and cities have different laws protecting renters. Consider getting renter's insurance regardless of what the lease says. It's usually inexpensive and protects your personal belongings. Keep records of all communications with your landlord, even after you move in. Remember, finding the right rental property is like finding the right job. It's worth taking time to find a good fit. The warning signs we've discussed today can save you from months of stress and unexpected costs. A good landlord wants happy, long-term tenants just as much as you want a comfortable, well-maintained home. Don't settle for less than you deserve. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and share it with friends who might be looking for rental properties. Have you experienced any of these warning signs in your own rental search? Leave a comment below and share your story. It might help other viewers avoid similar problems. And don't forget to subscribe for more practical advice on renting, home maintenance, and managing your finances. Your dream rental is out there. Now you know how to spot the ones to avoid along the way.